Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Ngozi. Today I'm going to talk about this topic that I titled, How is it possible to go from poor to rich? I'm sure you've heard of many stories of people who have come from very humble backgrounds or sometimes very poor backgrounds who became extremely rich and got themselves out of that um, environment, out of the environment where they were when they were poor, and never went back to those environments. So they did so well. And how is it possible to go from poor to rich? We hear all these stories and, we don't have access to these people to tell us their true stories. Like, how did they make all that money? How did they get rich? So what I can tell you is that um, when you follow the tried and tested frameworks that exist, you are likely to succeed. So sometimes the reason we don't do well with our finances is because we want to do things our own way. And so we're not using um, the frameworks that are there, people who have figured out the system and how the systems work. So what I can tell you is that currently, I mean, we're in 2024, there are some opportunities that provide yield. There's some fields where if you're coming from a poor background or a humble home for whatever reason, you can easily get into these fields and do quite well. And so one of the fields I'm going to tell you that is very good for escalating wealth is in healthcare. So it's in nursing, it's in medical, it's in hospital work. So what we know is that the population is getting older, and the populations are also increasing, rather, should I say. At the last census, there were 8 billion people in the world as of last year. So this year, we know there are more. And so as the population is increasing, people are living longer, people are getting older. So definitely they need services. So any kind of business that provides services to older people or people as they age or people as they have chronic health concerns, that business is going to do well. So that business could be in nursing and it could be in home care. So basically, if you study the world as it is right now, you can identify certain career opportunities where you are likely to enhance your income. You can start a business that provides services for the areas in need. And so I've heard people complain that they've had kids who've gone through colleges and they've studied certain courses for which they cannot find work, or they've taken certain courses that are now redundant and they cannot find work. So the issue is, how do you find out what is relevant in this era? You have to be reading newspapers. You have to be listening to the news. And you have to see where the demand is, the demand for goods and services. So it could be something very basic, something very easy. You can think about how to solve a problem for people. So if there's a demand for certain services, you can look at starting a business on the side. So while you're doing your 9 to 5 job, you can look at doing some work at the weekends. Or you can look at enhancing your skills by taking evening school, or attending some courses at the weekends to enhance your training. You can also find a mentor who will teach you how to excel in a field that you're interested in. So sometimes people get into certain courses and they get stuck because maybe they didn't have career counseling. So no one told them what you do with different jobs when you finish and how much money you're earning. And you'll find yourself in a job where you spent a lot of time in school and you come out of that job and the job is just not paying you enough. And you get stuck in that job and you become miserable in that job. So be mindful that you can always switch. Even though it's hard, it's not impossible. You can always switch, take courses. You can take courses in the evening or weekend classes and just switch out of the career where you feel you are stuck. So if you're not making headway in that particular career, you can switch to something that's going to add revenue to you. Technology has brought a lot of opportunity as well. There are many careers and there are many jobs that can be done remotely. If you're good with writing, if you're good with graphic designs, if you're good with content, right now you can see the world is going crazy for content. You can start your own social media platforms. You can teach what you know. You can start tutoring online. So there are many opportunities. It's not easy. It takes time. It takes time to go from that level where you don't have much to a level to where you have a lot. It takes a lot of time. It can take 10, 20, 30 years. So my favorite saying, Rome was not built in a day. It takes time. But if you find you're stuck in a career and that you cannot make ends meet, you cannot pay your bills, you cannot pay your rent, you cannot pay your bills, you cannot advance yourself, then it's worthwhile considering switching your career. And you have to plan and, weigh the pros and cons. But definitely, if you're stuck in a job where you're not making ends meet, you really have to figure out how to create a side gig. If you know how to cook, you can start a cooking channel online. All you need is a camera and a tripod and start recording your cooking tips. That is very popular right now. The cooking shows are very popular, especially if you're eating clean. So if you're eating healthy and you have healthy recipes to share, people are looking for this content. If you start a YouTube channel, within a short time, if you are good, your content is good and useful and people find it useful, you may start to earn money from YouTube. So that's one of the things. Another thing is a catering service. There are lots of older people who are at home. If you can prepare foods that are healthy, you can package your business as healthy food delivery. So if you're making food that doesn't have as much salt, doesn't have as much sugar or oil, you can target people who are ill with high blood pressure or diabetes and say, you have this particular product and you offer home delivery. Or you can offer to cook for them and get paid. So another thing also is, knowing how to price your services. So you may start a business, but you're not going to make money because you're not pricing your services appropriately. You're charging too low. And so you cannot make ends meet. So it's not even worth it at all, worth doing the business. So what I'm trying to say is it is possible with some coaching, with some mindset shift, with setting goals. It is possible to move your station from being poor to having means. It does take time, but it is definitely possible. So my name is Ngozi. I provide personal development coaching. If you've enjoyed listening to this channel, please like, write a nice comment, and share with your friends. Thank you.